Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. We eat sandwiches and play games. Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast. A podcast for everyone's day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Taste of Dragons, the Toddcast, the video game podcast that all you enterprising fellows listen to. And this week, it's Summer of Bonus, episode 3, I think. I don't ever remember with numbers. I mean, you know, that's 3 is too many for me. I can't count that high.
It's a bonus.
Been a long time.
I mean, should we even be doing math? I mean, it's our summer vacation.
Oh man, you're not wrong. I've been doing this wrong this entire time.
No arithmetic allowed.
You guys missed last week's episode. It was episode 169.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, let's get into it. As always, my name is Brian.
Je suis Troy.
And Amanda.
Hey everyone. Yeah, it's just 3 of us today. I believe this is my first podcast without Joe.
Oh.
I know we've.
This is my
I
first
know we've had
podcast
them in the
without Joe.
past.
This is my first
I know.
podcast without Joe.
Actually, no, we're wrong. We did a podcast
wrong?
without Joe with last February, 2 Februarys ago, with guest star Nakia and guest star Joe.
Oh,
AJ.
well, we had a Joe.
We had a
still
Joe.
had
We had a Joe.
Yeah.
Not
True.
Not Joe Prime.
So, Brian, no, this is your first time
Yeah.
doing a podcast without Joe.
This
How does it
is.
feel?
It's weird because I was in charge of hitting record and setting levels. So if this doesn't sound right, now you know why.
A quick question. Did we hit
Yes.
record?
I hit record.
And
Okay.
I hit record.
Okay, hey, we're already
Yeah.
good. We're good.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Boom.
Nailed it.
All right.
That's all. I mean,
all right.
everything else is just downhill from here.
Although I will say, to begin with, I did not. I mean, I hit record. I just didn't hit the buttons to record. So I hit the buttons to play, not to record.
I'm so
So,
confused.
but we're good now.
Okay.
We are good. We are
Good.
good. I don't know if
But we're
you can
good.
tell, audience, by the sound of our voices, but Troy and I are also both sick. So we apologize
Yeah.
for the stuffiness or grogginess or anything that our tired brains might say that we may later regret. But I
For-
hope you enjoy the journey that we're going to be going on together.
For our most studious of listeners, you may remember that I was supposed to be traveling the country, and I would not be on this episode. I would not
Yeah.
have been on this episode. You guys said farewell until like July, yet here I am.
Arguably, you may still not be on this episode. Mentally.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was that a threat? Damn, man.
You may still. We'll see. We'll see how you do.
What's been going in my tea? So yeah, I've been traveling. For work, I went to Texas and Mississippi and Georgia and North Carolina. The hubris that we had, thinking we could do this tour training thing, this work, and we'd be fine. Dude, I was in a Nashville airport and I looked around and pretty much like shook hands with COVID. It's just like, oh, hello, how are you?
COVID was like, you can have this chicken sandwich or you can stay not sick. And you were like, I'm in Nashville.
I've tested negative. I've had the worst like sore throat and I woke up with a fever today. But
Oh, no.
no, just must be a case of the Wednesdays. 'Cause I'm still negative.
Other sicknesses still exist.
No, there's
You
only
could
one
just
sickness.
be-
There's
you
only
could ju-
one sickness,
Just
Amanda.
COVID was like, you guys can take a break for a while. I'll just do everything.
Yes. No matter what you catch, it's COVID. That's how you have to think.
I mean,
Just to make sure.
It is.
I had real COVID. I didn't
did.
have whatever you have, like fake COVID.
Poor
but,
Amanda.
I am feeling much better.
Poor Amanda, Brian. She caught it like the second day we were in Texas. We had the
Oh, man.
perfect
We had such
day.
a good day.
We had the perfect day together.
I was like, Texas is great. I don't know what people are talking about. This has been a really lovely trip. We got some delicious
We went to the
food.
botanical gardens.
Yeah, and the gardens were so lovely. And then we went and walked around downtown, and we found
We saw a little
like
family of ducks
Oh,
in,
they were
in a
cute.
little creek little area. There's one little duck that was like falling behind, and it was like way behind. It was like, that's not gonna make it.
Yeah, we were watching natural selection happen. Like that
Oh,
duck
no.
is not. We can't stay here any longer. We're gonna own a duck.
It was the cutest natural selection, though.
Then we went to like this outdoor plaza downtown area, which is really nice.
Yeah,
and we found
boba tea.
like a game shop. We got some boba tea.
Got some new
and
dice.
In our defense, we were mostly outside. Like we were doing pretty good.
We picked to go to the botanical
yeah.
gardens, not like the museum of art, so that we would be outside. But no, you probably caught it at the Dallas airport
Probably
or something.
Airport, yeah.
We tried, but it got us. So poor Amanda had to come back alone.
Yeah.
Like before she was feeling anything. We just had an inkling.
But it was like a COVID is COVID, but COVID by yourself is a little different because I'd wake up every day and be like, I'm sick and I have to do laundry because no one else is home. Or I'm sick and I actually have to cook. Nah. But my parents were very nice. They dropped my dog back off. So they were watching my dog while I was out of town. And when they found that I was sick, obviously they couldn't spend any time with me because they're at risk. But they were kind enough to throw my dog inside of my house and then go back home. And they live an hour away. So it was a very long drive for them to just give me my dog, which I very much appreciated. And to be honest, like, I know that she's, don't tell her I said this, but I know that she's not a real doctor. But it did make me feel much better that she was by my side. My papa, Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that the dog's name is Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
We for short we call her Pepper. But don't forget the doctorate.
She is a doctor.
She is a doctor.
Or at least she'll tell you she's a doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So how did your parents drop her off? Did they like shoot her out of a t-shirt cannon, or did they just like
basically they it was really funny because so I left the front door unlocked, so they opened the front door and then Pepper saw me and then ran inside the house, and then they basically just left. Like I said hello and I went to FaceTime them afterwards to say thank you and they didn't answer.
They ghosted her.
I was like, you can't catch COVID over the phone, guys.
You don't know that.
And then 2 days later they called to check up if I was okay.
2 days later.
And my dad was like, it didn't occur to me until I left. He's like, I probably could have brought you like a care basket or like some soup or something. But it was just like they were such in the mindset of just like, okay, Operation Do Not Catch Germs.
Yeah.
It was very funny. As you can tell, I'm better.
Yeah. You had a couple negative tests, right?
Yeah.
So
that's good. That's
we
great.
are remote casting, but
yeah, that should be noted. Yeah, Brian isn't sitting here at the table as we're breathing into his face.
But it should also be noted, I also am going to an airport tomorrow.
Good luck, buddy.
So we'll see how it goes. And Joe has also been going through airports. So hey, we'll see what next week holds for all of us.
What a summer.
Spinning that wheel of fate. We'll see what happens.
We want to keep
where it
our
lands
audience on the edge of their seat. They never know who's going to show up to the podcast.
That's what the summer is about. I mean, it's not, but that's what it is so far.
It's a hot COVID summer. What can I say?
Whoa.
Oh no, we don't want that. We don't want that. No. But that brings me to my question, though. This week, actually, Hassel is in Viva la France.
He is. Hence my Je suis.
Oh.
Absolutely. And so because of that, though, I was wondering, is there any place you guys have wanted to go that you have not been yet? Or inside the United States, outside the United States, solar system, anywhere? Where would you guys like to go?
Solar system. I'm gonna keep it to Earth for now.
Okay.
Because I don't have the science for the rest. Like, sure, I could go to Neptune, but like, do I have the equipment to do it?
But also, like, I know Neptune's cold, but aside from that, is that one of the planets like without ground, or is it mostly ice, or is it?
I think Norway has been something of interest. Go check out the Vikings.
Is that? Did you have that interest before playing Valhalla, or is that like an Assassin's Creed?
I think it's probably just a small culmination from all sources of media and their fascination with Vikings, God of War as well. It's just how much can I learn about Odin and Yggdrasil before I'm like, let me just go to the source.
It's very cold. It'd be a very cold trip.
I'll bring a jacket.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it should be fine. It should be enough.
That's just one coat.
Yeah, maybe some earmuffs.
Oh yeah, mittens.
Mm-hmm.
Mittens. Some scarves.
Some nice mittens.
So what would you be looking forward to in Norway?
Asgard. So my real answer is I want to get to Asgard, and I figured the only way to really do that is to go to Norway first and find like some type of bridge or some type of channel,
Bridge.
Yeah, to get me there.
Right.
Okay.
Haven't worked out how to get back though. So
But I mean, if you're in Asgard, does it matter?
What if it sucks? What if it's like not what I think it's gonna be? It's just like
kind of a bummer.
Boring dudes with beards.
They only drink mead. Like they don't have beer or wine or anything. They're just like
I'm
really
fine
into
with
mead.
that. Mead's pretty good.
I think I'd miss a good beer though.
Yeah. What kind of headwear would you go with though, Troy? What would you go with? Yeah.
I mean, are you just gonna wear a hat, or are you like
helmet? Probably?
Yeah, you're gonna go helmet.
Helmet.
A beanie.
How many horns?
One directly in the center of my head.
Okay, just unicorn style Viking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Formidable. Or one, but it's coming out the back of my head, which is weird.
That is weird.
It is weird.
It's like a ponytail.
Yeah, it's like a ponytail.
Like a horn-like ponytail.
I have like a mullet, but it's made out of horns.
Okay, so a bunch of ones, like
I guess.
Darth Maul style,
What?
but like only on the
Oh.
bottom.
Does Darth Maul have a
He doesn't have a
mullet?
helmet. He has.
horned mullet?
No. He does not have a horn maul. He has horns all over his head,
Okay.
but they're like his horn hair.
It's his
But
horn
if you were
mitts.
gonna, yeah. But if you were gonna do a mullet, it would only be the bottom half, or
Yeah.
short horns on the top and long horns in the back.
Danger in the front, danger in the back.
Try not to fall, because that would hurt. That would hurt a lot.
Yeah, I don't want to fall.
No, not at all.
We've been to Europe a few times, so I think if I had to choose, I might go somewhere the opposite direction. We've talked a little bit about going to New Zealand. I think that would be nice because it's like islandy, but very different type of islandy.
It's beautiful.
And it's supposed to be gorgeous. And we haven't really been vacationing in that direction yet. So I'd love to find out a little bit about the culture of the people who live there, besides the four things I know about because of Lord of the Rings.
Those four things, those four rings.
Those four rings.
I take my answer back. I do not want to go to Norway.
Okay.
I recently found a place that is has the greatest name of anywhere
Okay.
ever, I think, and it's located off of the southwestern part of South America, so it's a little bit towards Antarctica, but it's like in the middle somewhere. It's called Cape Disappointment.
Oh no! Is there nothing there?
No, it's beautiful. There's like one lighthouse, and then just waves are constantly crashing against it, and it looks gorgeous.
Oh, that does sound really nice.
I don't think it's a tourist destination. I'm pretty sure it's very dangerous to be there. But Cape Disappointment, I think, is just so fun.
They didn't name it that and then not want people to visit.
I know, right? I looked it up.
Right?
Apparently, whoever found it was just disappointed because it was just like a small nothing island.
Gotcha.
And they
gotcha.
thought, like, I found a new continent. We've done it, lads.
Oh, and then they walked around the whole thing in like an hour, and they were like, oh.
Ugh. Call it Cape Disappointment.
I feel like you would have to like go there as part of like a road trip. Like you have to go to like I think Oregon or whatever state
Yeah.
Boring is in.
Fun
And
fact.
then-
I
yeah.
think there is a Cape Disappointment in Washington State somewhere. It's not the same island, but it does have a
okay.
lighthouse.
Okay.
I went into a deep hole. This is what happens when you're sick, guys.
That's awesome. For myself, I would actually I'd go with Iceland. Iceland sounds
Ooh.
gorgeous. I don't know what I do there because I'm a very picky eater. And they have a lot of foods that I'm not a fan of.
They probably have like other stuff.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure they do. But I like to try regional stuff when I'm in places because that's the whole point.
Right.
But I've looked it up and I don't know.
Maybe you're really into like salted fish and you don't know it yet.
Oh yeah, fermented salted fish. You're right. That is it.
That's the Icelandic way right there.
It is. But yeah. Iceland has always just been gorgeous. Every single photo I've seen, every single other things I've seen. I mean, I know there's places that are not great there, but I would love to go there.
I mean,
Can you catch the Northern Lights there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that I have always wanted to see those.
Also,
Same.
speaking of food, when Troy and I went to Scotland, we got to try haggis. And I mean, like you mentioned, local food, got to check it out. And actually, we had haggis like 3 or 4 times, and it was delicious every time. I know that
really?
that's like the joke that it's really disgusting, but it was basically just meatloaf.
Granted, we were having
Really?
like the restaurant haggis, like the bar haggis. From what I understand, like if you're having like grandma's haggis, like suit up because it's just straight up in the bag in
but
the intestine bag.
But that's like, okay, one, they all came straight up in the intestine bag. That's just how
They
they're
did?
cooked. Yes.
No, not when we got them though. They looked like meatloaf. They didn't.
That's
put
like
it-
sausage. Sausage is just made in intestines. Like that's what that casing is. So like when we had it, that's what it was. It was in the stomach. But it's definitely like the type of thing where they're like, oh man, you should have had it before. But then you think of American food from like the 1950s, it's not great.
Exactly.
So I think
Yeah,
it's the same type
Oh, I
of thing
see.
where it's like, hey, it's more seasoned now.
Yeah.
So it
Like
tastes different than it would have, but
Haggis-
also like, yeah.
Haggis has progressed, but
Kinda like-
but be careful if you get old grandma Moss. Haggis.
Kind of like Brussels sprouts, which is like, when I was growing up, they're like, Brussels sprouts are disgusting. And that's because, like, in the 50s, you boiled Brussels sprouts and then put them on a plate, and that's disgusting. That is disgusting. I mean, just like, I'm sorry if you like boiled Brussels sprouts, but you're disgusting. But
You're
if
disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. I stand by that statement. I joke. But if, like, you put them on a cooking sheet with a little bit of olive oil and some salt and pepper, they're delicious. So I think that's just, that's how haggis is. Put it on a baking sheet, a little bit of salt and pepper, delicious. Mwah.
Nice.
So,
maybe it'll be fine then.
Yeah.
I have hope now, Amanda. Thank you.
You just have to
so much.
You have to get the right fermented salted fish.
Yeah. I mean,
Is what we're saying, Brian.
maybe it's delicious. Maybe it's really good. Salt tastes great.
Hey,
Salt tastes great.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But yeah, let's hit into this episode, everyone. So E3 or not E3 or Key 3, as some people are calling it, was just this last week, and a lot of, I mean, I don't think there was as many announcements as there normally is to me. Like, it all felt like it was updates to games we already knew about, which I'm fine with for the most part.
It definitely feels like we're hitting that wave of, like, we talked about this with movies, where we're hitting like the COVID wave, where it's like, things are going to start slowing down. It's going to seem like nothing's coming out because, like, now we're seeing the effects of, like, the last 2 years of people being like, we don't know what we're doing. We're figuring it out. So yeah, it definitely felt like, we got nothing new to talk about, but we're still working on these things.
I also think just fundamentally the idea of E3 is kind of gone, where people would hold back and not share anything about their games until E3, and then there'd be just a smorgasbord of new info. We're getting state of plays, we're getting Nintendo directs, we're getting information that you would normally only get at E3 throughout the entire year now.
It's much easier to share information than it used to be, yeah.
When it comes to this E3 type event, like, I'm not seeing as many new announcements, but that's because we've had directs and press conferences all year round telling us about new games. It's just not concentrated until 1 week anymore.
I think people are also a lot more sensitive to, like, announcements. It's like, I would rather you told me about a game, a year before it comes out, and then I get actual updates until I can play it, then you tell me about a game 5 years before I can get it, and then every year I get like a tiny snippet, and then by the time it comes out, I'm just so exhausted from hearing about it that I either don't care anymore, or like my expectations are so high I'll never be met. I feel like they're shortening that window now to be like, hey, we're only going to talk about things that you can play in the next year, or things that you can play in the next year and a half, rather than like this huge, like, 5-year-long marketing window.
Yeah, and that brings us to what we're mainly going to be talking about today, which is the Bethesda Xbox showcase. Every single game that they showed there, barring delays and whatever, is supposed to come out within the next year, which I thought was great because, like you were just saying, they do a lot of things where it's like, it's coming out whenever. We don't have a date yet because it's going to be at some time. How about that? And I really enjoyed their like graphic that they had towards the end, where it showed all the games that they were talking about that's coming out in 2022 and the ones that are coming out in 2023. And again, barring delays and all that other jazz, I like that a lot. That was great for me.
Yeah, it kind of allows them to focus like our interest as well, to be like, I want to know more about these specific games because, I'm going to be able to play them, rather than having like this broad stroke. Although I have to say, I think that Starfield had its deep dive at the very end because it doesn't fall into the 2023 bucket. They were like, and these are all the games that are coming out in 2022 and 2023. And then as a stinger, Starfield. And it was like, are you doing that because it's definitely not coming out? Or like, is it like at the end of your pipeline?
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be one of those things where it's like, it's going to come out June 2023, and then they're just going to delay it or however. But I do believe they were aiming for it to still come out within the next year.
I can't even.
I agree.
What? Well, I mean, it's Bethesda, so it's going to come out broken.
Well, yes.
They haven't done that right yet. It's actually, like, if it doesn't come out broken, I feel like I'll be a little sad for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah, like you Bethesda, you didn't release this. Who did you hire to do this?
I have to say, I wasn't interested in Starfield before because all the teaser trailers were so vague that I was just like, I have no idea. But this looks a little bit like it's going to be a more in-depth No Man's Sky. with
Yes.
like Skyrim elements, and I'm kind of digging that. Like, I like the idea of making my own ship, and then like my own base, and then just seeing like Oblivion Skyrim style missions across all these planets. And they say you can land anywhere on the whole planet. So that's really exciting for the exploration aspect of it, which I feel like is like very Skyrim, of just like, let's just go in this direction and see what's out there. But I'll be interested to see if like, what I'm worried is like, are they going to have pockets of activity and then just like, you know, hours and hours of nothing? Or is it going to be like randomly generated stuff that it makes the whole world feel lived in? I don't know. I think I'm going to buy it, but I'm curious.
I fell asleep.
You fell asleep during Skyfall? What did I just say? Starfield.
Yeah, I don't think that game's for me.
Well, you did.
Oh,
you
no.
didn't think you'd like Skyrim.
I knew I would like Skyrim. What do you mean?
You didn't play Skyrim for like 3 years.
I played, because I was scared of it.
Oh,
Not
okay.
that I respected it too much.
All right.
I knew how much it would demand of me.
But not this.
I look forward to watching you play it. Maybe I'll be able to see some stuff, but I'm sorry. Just nothing about that game was appealing to me. All the
really?
colors were just super, just like white and gray.
Oh, it's very chill. Yeah.
And like light blues.
But
and
Skyrim is all brown, so I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that, Troy, because I'm kind of with both of you, because I was with Amanda as well, because it's like they didn't really show off too much before. It was just like, hey, here's Starfield. You guys know about it. All right, great. Here's a teaser, but none of it's in game. Like, it's all cinematics. And then this, as it was starting out, I was like, okay, it's another Bethesda fair, which is fine. They're all pretty great. And then what really got me, though, is what normally does with a lot of games, which is you can recruit people and then put them to work in different situations wherever you want to put them. Like, you can get your ship and have them man different systems in your ship, the people that you meet. You can have a base and then you can put them to work in your base. And I am always a sucker for that type of stuff. As soon as they were saying that, I was like, all right, you got me. I'm in. You said like the 3 words that I needed. All right, I'm down to clown.
I thought the inclusive body shapes were nice. Like, they were like, we have the most up-to-date character customization. And it was like, I feel like we've seen character customization before, and like, you could be anything. And they started to go through like eye color and hair color, and I was like, this looks like very much like a regular Bethesda game. And then they got to like body types, and you can like genuinely be like a bunch of different sizes, which I feel like games don't usually do. So that was really nice to see. I hope that
Agreed.
it maps well to clothing, because usually when I see them do that, it's like, this is clearly the one size they modeled these for, and now like you've just either stretched it or shrunk it. But nonetheless, it is cool to be like, oh no, you can genuinely be more types of people. The only thing I haven't seen in a game that I would be interested in is height. I feel like most games, even if they let you be any size, you're always the same height. And I mean,
True.
sometimes I want to be short lady. Why can't it be short lady? Or really tall lady?
I feel like the reason for that is because normally those types of games are first-person shooters or first-person games. So you'd have to change. Yeah, you'd have to change the height of your actual camera as you're going along, which I think would be hilarious. But yeah, I do see the technical limitations, or not even technical limitations, but like the game design for that, because then you'd have to do different things for it. So
just
I get
looking
it.
up the whole time.
Yeah,
or looking down at things.
Yeah, looking down at things. Yeah. And yeah, actually, no, that also brings me to another game that they announced during E3. I think it was during Capcom's presentation, where they have the Mercenaries mode in Resident Evil 8, which is like a multiplayer type of thing. But in that, they announced new characters that you can play as, and it was like Chris Redfield, Heisenberg, and then they had Lady Dimitrescu. I'm terrible with how you pronounce that, but since it's a first-person game, you actually are getting it from her height.
Oh, that's
and so
very
you
fun.
actually have to like crouch in order to get through doors. You have to do these types of things, and I thought that was amazing.
So it wasn't just the model; they scoped everything up.
Absolutely. So yeah, you saying that reminded me that's what they did in that game.
Your hat's in the way the whole time. You can't see too far.
Yeah,
It's just like dipped down dramatically.
There's
over
no
one
looking
eye.
up. There's just no looking up. That hat is just way too far out. But yeah, for me, Starfield got me. But I completely understand you, Troy. I mean, It's got a character creator, Troy. That's normally your bread and butter.
Yeah, but also has base building, which is like
that's
not my
right.
jam.
That is not your jam.
Granted, I didn't see the whole thing, so
Right.
Okay.
I'll keep that in mind because I think I literally instant fell asleep when I saw the base building mechanics. I was like a
Your
hard
brain
out.
was just like,
Bye-bye. I think it was the customer characterization that woke me back up. And I was like, cool.
Nice.
I don't know.
All right.
No Man's Sky just seems like the better choice of these two if you had to get one.
why choose?
Why choose?
Why choose? But didn't they announce something with character customization that you were interested in?
I don't know if that was for Xbox for the Bethesda showcase, but they did talk about Saints Row.
Yes.
I don't know what. There's been so many different video game presentations these past 5 days. I don't know which one goes where. But yeah, Saints Row, the reboot, which is coming out at the end of the year, has a pretty silly custom character designer, and apparently you could just download that by itself and just create a bunch of characters.
Yeah, they just released the game for Troy. Basically, that's the full release for Troy.
I really don't need anything else. So I actively looked to try and find that demo on PlayStation. I couldn't, so I don't know where I'm supposed to go to get that. Create a character demo.
Yeah, I think it's Epic Game Store exclusive.
Is that only PC?
Yeah, I guess it's only PC because I knew on PC it was only Epic Game Store, but I wasn't sure if they released it for other platforms. But I guess they didn't. So yeah, if you want to download that, Epic Game Store, right. It's completely free. Nice free demo. So yeah, that's Troy's full game.
Love it. What about that game with the guns that are stoned? I want that game.
High on Life. Yeah,
is
High
that
on
what it's
Life.
called? Literally,
Yeah,
it's called High on Life.
Is it the Rick and Morty one?
It does seem to have the voice actors.
It does. It's actually by Justin Roiland, who does Morty's voice and does Rick's voice and does a lot of the voices. So it is from him. And I don't believe it's a tie-in at all. Even though it looks a lot like the other game that they released, I think it was called Trevor, or I forget what it was actually called, but the VR game. And it seems a lot like that. But it's like almost claymation, the way that they did it.
It seems pretty neat.
Yeah, the visual style was very, very interesting.
And to be honest, as you guys were mentioning on, I think, last week's podcast about how there's just so many demos or so many game trailers that are all just guns shooting and stuff like that, and it's just becoming really monotonous, just the amount of shooting zombies and stuff there are. I like that this was a shooting game, and it was almost like a parody of a shooting game where the guns matter. They're not just these weird, they're just not these methods of destruction. They have personalities and feelings, and I don't know, I'm very curious how they subvert the genre of a first person shooter.
I think it's going to be a little too gross for me. Even the trailer for me, I was like, I don't know if this is my kind of humor. I get what they're going for, and like,
that's
fair. Your thing, totally.
That's fair.
But I was just like,
I could see myself eye rolling a bunch during that game.
Agreed. Because I'm with Manda. I did the same thing. I was like, I don't know. I like the design. I like everything about this. I don't know if I'm gonna like the humor. It might be cringe for me.
That's a good point. I think I was more into the idea of the game mechanics, but I could see the content getting really annoying.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Although I like the idea of like the guns being the focus, and like you have to rescue all of my gun brethren,
being
so we
alive,
can get together, and
and feeding them and taking care of them.
Yeah, it's like the anti Borderlands, where you get like billions of guns and you just throw them all away. This is like, no, this one's talking to you, man.
They're like pets.
Yeah.
Speaking of the shooty games with the zombies, I did see something that I wanted from the last time we saw a conference that I ended up being disappointed about. Remember when they had the Vampire Masquerade trailer, and I was like, this looks amazing, and then it was a 1v100, and then I was very, very sad.
I tried it. Yeah. It wasn't great.
Well, they have a vampire game now, and it's not solo, but it is co-op, and it looked really interesting. I mean, it is very much like a shooting zombies type of game. Like, you've got like the flashlight on the end of your gun creeping through a dark room, and then vampires jump out and you shoot vampires, but not zombies. And it seems like everyone on the team has like a different superpower. And it looks like a one person. Well, I think they said it was up to 4 people.
Yeah, it's 4 people. It's almost pretty much Left 4 Dead, but with zombies. And I believe the developers don't like that reference.
Oh, no.
Even though it's pretty much what it is. But yeah, every single character has a very specific skill set, which I did enjoy. Like very specific. Like there's guys that have like, what was it, like the giant like cross that like completely irradiates every single vampire in front of them. You have the mechanic. You have all these different things. Yeah, this trailer, I don't know if it won me over, but it did look very well done and polished.
For something that I hadn't seen anything about previously, it definitely looks like a great game to like, hey, me and my friends are going to jump in and we're going to play this and it's going to be silly and whatever.
Agreed.
I mean, not that it's a funny game, but like it seemed fun to jump into that. And it was nice, like we mentioned, to not see zombies anymore. I mean,
yeah,
vampires are still undead, so they're just barely crossing that threshold. But
they're not mindless, though. They're
That's
not
true.
mindless.
That's
They're
true.
sexy.
There you
And
go.
I asked for vampires, and they gave me vampires, and I respect that.
There you go.
They did.
There
And
you
yeah,
go.
that was Redfall is the name of that game.
Yeah, they opened up with that.
Since we're allowed to tangent on summer
course.
bonus
Bonus episodes.
Have you guys heard of Swan Song? This wasn't in any of the announcements.
No, what
I
is
don't
it?
know. It
So
doesn't ring a bell.
So I looked at Vampire Masquerade when it came out, when they announced it, and then I was 1v100 and I was very sad. But I was like, I swear I've heard of this before this
Okay.
trailer. And Vampire the Masquerade is actually a tabletop role-playing game that
Yes.
a friend of ours had been playing. So she had been explaining it to me, and I was like, oh, that's why I remember. It's strange that they chose a tabletop RPG for like a 1v100 when that's like such a story-rich like genre. But they actually have a first-person version of Vampire the Masquerade. I forget what the other 2 previous ones were called, but they came out for previous generation consoles, and then their next one is called Swan Song. And it looks really interesting. It looks like you play as a vampire in the world that they created for Vampire the Masquerade, and it's like a first-person RPG style, which was kind of what I wanted from the trailer. So even though their 1v100 was very disappointing for me, the same company is making Swan Song. So
Okay.
good on them making the game that I wanted.
Nice. And I believe Vampire the Masquerade is also owned by CD Projekt Red, which does The Witcher.
Oh, I
So-
didn't know that.
So
Okay.
Vampire the Masquerade is the name of the tabletop game and the name of the RPG series. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt is the
Blood Hunt.
is the battle royale game.
And then Swan Song is the RPG.
okay.
Nice.
I got it on my wish list. I think that one has a release date too.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it does.
It came out apparently in May.
It did? Swan Song?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
May's not that long ago. It's
Wow.
less than a month.
It has
So-
a pretty we don't really care about reviews, so take it or leave it. But on
Fair.
all different platforms, it has a solid 50% in every single.
That is exactly
category.
what I want from a video game. I want a solid B video game is like my
I think you're going to get what you
dream.
want. A 2.5 out of 5 on Neo 10, 5 out of 10 on IGN, and then a 50% on PC Gamer. It's exactly in the middle for all 3 publications. That's impressive.
This looks like their first like true RPG. The ones previously looked very much like visual novel. Like you could talk to people and then their like little illustration would pop up, and then go to talk to another person and a different illustration would pop up. And this is the first one they've done where you're like full 3D modeled people that you're interacting with. So I get like very like B video game vibes from it, but I think I may really enjoy.
I'd be interested to see what that looks like. I played Blood Hunt for a little bit, and it had an okay creative character, just so you know.
Ooh, I don't think
Okay.
there's any creative character in this. I think you're playing as a person. I think it's a
Oh
dude.
man,
I think it's a white dude with dark hair. But you know,
really?
Yeah.
For an RPG?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a story.
All right.
But-
Yeah, that's
All right.
yeah. And then they've showed off a bunch of things. I forget what one of the name of the games was, but it's like you were talking about the visual novel. It's almost like a visual graphic novel, which they've done before.
I think that's called Ask for Dusk or Dust. Ask for Dust. That doesn't make
something
sense.
along those lines. Yeah, that sounds right.
Ash for Dusk.
I would please like the dust, please.
No, that one was interesting. The one Brian you're talking about because it's up to 8 people, wasn't it? The
As-
graphic novel.
As
Yeah, I
dusk
think so.
falls.
As Dusk Falls, yeah. And yeah, that to me, I'm not a huge fan of that type of visual style, but it did look very well done. and very like people who are fans of this type of series or this type of gameplay, I think would really dig it.
That's
I mean,
me.
I'm not,
That's me.
and it still looks great to me.
They talked about they said it was going to be challenging, like emotionally, and that it's going to help you like grow your relationship with other people. So the idea of them taking a video game and then like, I mean, we just talked about how guns are boring, like throwing all of that out the window and be like, no, we're going to focus on like relationships, and then we're going to make it so that multiple people can play together. Like Troy's talked before about how impactful visual novels can be as a medium, like through video games. So the idea of creating that space with multiplayer, I think that's fascinating. So I'm super interested to see how that works out.
It could be really special. I think the Man of Medan tried that. Remember that series we tried?
That was so boring.
Yeah. But it didn't work for us because we were playing local. So we still saw, like, I got to see what Brian was doing. I got to see what you were doing. But if you're playing multiplayer online, you would only see your character's perspective, and you wouldn't know what the other characters are doing.
That might be more interesting.
Which, for me, I felt is prime.
I may be biased because, like, whatever character I picked was, like, I don't know, like 7th in the lineup. So it was just, I watched like an hour and 45 minutes of other people playing a video game before I got to the controller, and it was just like, oh man, I get what you're doing, but I'm so bored.
Yeah, and another game actually just did it. They just released last week. It's called The Quarry.
Oh yeah,
and it's by the same people who did, or the same creative people who created Until Dawn.
Excuse me, Brian. It's a David Arquette's The Quarry.
That's true. That's true. You're not wrong.
Oh, David Arquette.
That sounds familiar.
He's from Scream.
Oh, I don't do scary movies.
Yeah, that's what this is.
He's also the newest board member for one of my for my company, or his wife.
Oh, really?
Is. Yes.
That's awesome.
The man hit his midlife funsies and decided to become a clown.
Okay, yeah.
He decided to bring back Bozo the Clown, and by doing so, found healthcare clowning, hospital clowning, which is my profession. And it's just like, oh, you guys are great, and him and his wife have just been repping us, which was like dope.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's why I had to specifically say David Arquette's The Quarry.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So he made a video game and became a clown this year, which is just, I mean, I feel like he's stepping on your turf there.
Oh gosh, you know what?
Video games and clowns was you.
That was me. Oh man. All right, I guess I have to become a action horror movie.
Oh yeah, you should just trade.
I should just trade.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, easy, done. But the Quarry does that as well. It has 8 different characters, and basically you are all summer camp counselors, and then weird stuff happens around you, and then you have like the 8 different perspectives. But it has an all-star not all-star, but a pretty much all-star cast of characters. Like you have Sam Raimi is actually one of the people, or no, maybe not Sam Raimi.
The director?
No, I think it's Sam Raimi.
Is Bruce Campbell in it?
Bruce Campbell is not in it.
Until Dawn was pretty great. It had Hayden Panettiere who was big off of Heroes, big show.
Yeah.
And you had, he wasn't an Oscar winner yet, but Rami Malek. And that guy's like huge now.
I don't really do actor names, so this has been very interesting roller coaster for me.
Rami Malek, he's got those big eyes that kind of bug out.
I haven't seen the thing that he's in. It's Robot.
iRobot, Mr. Robot.
Not Mr. iRobot
sure.
is
Mr.
Will
Robot,
Smith,
yeah.
I think.
It's Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, yeah. I have not seen it. I did see him in James Bond.
He was in James Bond, the last James Bond. He was fine. And also in that Queen movie where he was
the Queen
fine
movie.
About Queen.
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury.
Oh, that was very good.
Yeah.
That was very good.
And it wasn't Sam Raimi. It's Ted Raimi. It's his brother. It was his brother. That was my fault.
Man, you know that happens to him all the time.
It does. You know it does.
All
but it also
the time.
has
No,
like
that's my
Brenda
brother.
Song in it. Shio Ben Williams. It's got a
You mean
bunch
Siobhan?
of people in it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm terrible with names. Justice Smith as well.
Well,
Justice!
I'm in. We're big Justice
We're
fans.
Justice fans, yeah.
All right.
as you should be.
Sign me up.
Absolutely. So yeah, that game just came out, and I actually saw a couple of different streamers playing it. It seems to be about like 8 to 10 hours long.
I will play it.
And yeah, the story actually seemed pretty cohesive and pretty well done. So yeah, check out The Quarry if you are
We'll do.
interested in like a horror, like Until Dawn
Type. So Xbox Bethesda. So other things that I found interesting. One was getting to see all of the acquired properties like showing up and saying hi. I mean, they don't own Riot, but they had a nice partnership with Riot where pretty much Riot brought all their big games, League of Legends, Valorant, and we're like, hey, this is going to be on Game Pass. Like, we're going to give you all the heroes. We're going to give you all the stuff. Here you go. And I was like, okay, damn, Riot is one of the biggest gaming companies in the entire world, just by League of Legends alone. And man, did they rep that Arcane so hard.
Yay.
They showed Jinx. They were like, yeah, no, we're the Arcane people. Check it out. Look at Jinx. Look at your friends. Yep, same thing, same company. What a big get from Microsoft and Game Pass. But also seeing the newly acquired Blizzard. We got to see some Overwatch news.
I forgot.
They gave a release date for Overwatch 2, which I have not played. Maybe I've played like once or twice in the past year, which is like big.
Shocking. Yeah.
The most exciting part for Overwatch for me is that it's going free to play, which means that you'll be able to play on your other console. So we won't have to keep that TV in the other room specifically so that you could play something on a PS4.
So
very exciting.
I got a PS5 that's discless because I'm an ass. And I loved Overwatch, and played it nonstop. And I went to go download Overwatch on my discless PS5, and it was like, you got to buy this game. I'm like, I've owned this game for 6 years, since 2016. I think that math is correct. And then I only to realize that I had the disc version, but I had kept the disc in my PS4 has been in there for 5 years. I've never taken it out because there's no other game I really want to play.
Also, you buy a lot of things digitally. So, yeah.
So I forgot that there was even a disc in the PS4. I just thought it was a magic Overwatch machine.
So as Troy showed up to the party staring at his PS5 holding a disc that he couldn't use.
It wouldn't work. So so we have a spare in our guest room. We have a TV with the PS4 hooked up that is only for when I play Overwatch, which has been less and less and less and less. So I'm curious for Overwatch 2.
You're gonna see it on the new TV, and you're gonna see it with the new system. It'll be like doubly a nice game if you decide to play it.
They introduced a new character called the Junker Queen, which they've been hinting at for a long time. She shows up in like graffiti on certain levels. And you know how the internet got like really thirsty towards Lady D when she showed up?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, she's fine. It was like, no, break my neck, Lady D.
Yeah,
that's the reaction to the Junker Queen.
No.
They're just like, oh, hello. Yeah, dude, crush my skull.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That's been the reaction.
It has
across the board. Like, all genders are on this party in regards of her. But they haven't really put out much information on to her abilities, but it looks like she's going to be a tank, which is pretty awesome.
That is cool. I mean, I know not all Aussies are related, but does she have a connection to Junkrat? Do we know story canonically?
Yeah, I think she rules. They are but peons in her kingdom.
Okay, so she doesn't know him or anything like that.
They probably as a nuisance. If she's the queen, I would say Junkrat is the jester.
Oh, okay, excellent.
And I think she's just a queen because she won a bunch of battles. She's a queen of the Thunderdome,
right?
Pretty much.
Oh yeah. It seemed like in her, at least the introduction that they showed, the video, it looks like there was like a Junker King. So what they do is they have like underground battles there, like the Thunderdome, going on. And so there was a guy that called himself the Junker King, and he had been undefeated for 10 years. So like she shows up. So the premise is she wins and becomes the Junker Queen, and that seems her premise. Yeah. So
Overwatch 2 got a release date. I think it's like October or something. I am down not to play Overwatch until that comes out.
Isn't there one more new character? The lady with the white hair? Yeah,
I think it's Sojourn.
Yes, Sojourn. Yep.
She's actually been released on the beta for a while.
Oh, okay, cool.
So people have been able to try her out and see what her moves are. She's got a pretty good moveset. It has to do with like charging guns and charging energy shots and shooting through enemies. A very tactical player.
What type is she?
She's a DPS. Yeah. We need more support out here, man. Come on.
that's gotta be. I mean, logically,
jam.
that's next. You got a DPS, you got a tank, maybe a healer.
Come on, give me a healer. Give me a healer game.
And then I think the biggest news, at least as far as PC gamers go, was the Diablo 4 introduction, or the like, again, all these games are coming out within the next year, supposedly. So that means that Diablo 4 is coming out within the next year. And they announced their last character, which is the Necromancer, which is, it's a staple. But she looks awesome, or at least the one that they showed looked amazing.
The characters in Diablo 4 look great. I look forward to playing. You want to play, Banda?
I would love to play. I've never played. I played like one Diablo once, but it was a very, very long time ago. I might have played 2.
Right on.
But I would love to. I'd love to jump into that.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah,
Brian, you want to play Diablo?
I'll play Diablo with you all day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I am always down. And then Troy, they also got you part of it because there's now also you can create your character in that as well.
I saw that.
Or customize your character,
Actually,
I should say. You can customize,
Make my Necromancer look super dorky.
Your Necromancer's just a bookworm. Like she summons the dead by accident. She's really just interested in reading the tomes.
Just like tape on the glasses, everything.
Yeah, she died because she just kept reading and didn't eat anything. Like, she just so engrossed into knowledge. But yeah, I thought that was cool because they haven't done that before with any of the previous ones. And in fact, in the previous ones, if you picked a character and it was like the Necromancer's female, well, that's just how it is. You can't even choose a male Necromancer. So yeah, I think it's a pretty big step forward. Because they also have, I think the reason before, not the reason, or not I think, but the reason before was that, you had all this armor and it was always displayed on you. And so having to do all the different male and female, that's, doubling up on your armor load and all that other jazz. So you now have to do it for both body types. I think it's great. I'm so happy that you can now customize your character. I didn't think it would get me, but it got me.
Got you. Another game that I really liked they announced was the Plague's Tale. I think it's Innocence, the sequel to Plague's Tale Requiem or whatever it was.
No, it's Plague's Tale Requiem, a sequel to Plague's Tale Innocence, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Great. Yes. That was a dark horse hit for me when I played it a couple of years ago. I think it was just one of the free games or something, and I was like, this looks great. And then it was just remarkable.
The story was excellent.
The visuals were really good. It was really scary, but also kind of the glimmer of hope. It was a fun indie game. And so this sequel was particularly very interesting to me because in the first game you play as this young lady who, like, when she goes to take a life to save her brother for like the first time, it's a big deal. And she does not like that feeling of having to take someone's life. And you play the game kind of, finding alternative means other than violence to make your way through it. Not in the sequel.
They do seem to be playing with the idea of, like, she's more okay with it, but he's still not okay with it. And they're talking about the, like, moral implications of you killing all of these people. And I think that's really cool.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I was like, yeah, she's a teenager now.
Yeah, she is. It did seem like towards the end of that trailer as well, it seemed like the brother was starting to, like, get into it as well. Like, there was a lot more. There was a lot more like, oh, this is what I had to do to survive type of stuff.
The innocence is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the story for the first one was so amazing. I can't wait to see what they do with this one.
Yeah, I think it's fun to see where those characters go. They're very natural. Did we get a release date from Stray this week because of the conferences, or did that just? Yeah, Stray comes out July either 14th or 17th. And that one's available both on Game Pass and on PlayStation. Not on Game Pass. I think it's only available on PlayStation Extra or Plus. Essential. No. Extra or Premium. Plus. Yeah. Yeah. Everything plus Essential. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Nothing but the essentials. Everything but essential. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that is. That was one of the things. We talked about that last week during the Sony because. So it was interesting because like Sony had their whatever they did last week, and it was like 25 minutes. They showed off like 4 or 5 games, and that was it. Whereas Xbox, they showed off 30 games. Every single one of them was the gameplay as well. It wasn't just a cinematic trailer, and it was an hour and a half long. It was too long. But also every single one of them was either going to be available on the Game Pass service or available day one on Game Pass. Which is like, what? Yeah. Microsoft just throwing that money out there, just being like, "No, we'll handle your sales. No. We'll front you that money."
Yeah, we got it. No problem.
It didn't appear on their showcase, which is a little disappointing, but they also posted, maybe it was another video later that I missed, but they also posted on Twitter a compilation of indie games that are going to be available on Game Pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's what I want to see. To be honest, like I loved all the big games and stuff, but like when it comes to Game Pass, it's really just a little indie game machine.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be playing on there.
Hard to agree.
Any other games from the Xbox thing?
Yeah, I was just about to ask you guys the same thing. There was actually, like you said, it was almost too long with how long it went on.
There's a lot of Hollow Knight fans out there. I know it's a really big game.
Oh yeah, that was
Hollow Knight.
Yeah, that's Silk Song. I believe is what that was called.
Silk Song.
Yeah, that looked right.
Dope R&B number from the 90s.
It does.
And here we go. Silk Song. Ooh, baby.
The only thing that didn't work for me is as soon as they were like, hey, we're only going to show things that come out in 2022 and 2023, I was like, no, I want to see Fable.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way it's coming out because
way.
we haven't seen anything.
No way.
I'm going to take back everything that I said a minute ago about only wanting to see things in like a short span of time and say that I will see whatever tidbit of Fable that they can give me.
We're gonna get you some Fable, Amanda.
I want some Fable.
Hassel got his wish.
Yeah, and it wasn't just Fable; it was also Dragon Age. There was neither one of those.
Yeah,
Dragon
Age is getting the anime, which you guys posted about. Not that's the
right.
same as the game, but Dragon Age is getting a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
And they have a very good story. I'm curious as to how that's going to work out because Dragon Age is very well. It's also
tell it from.
It's also very different depending on how you played your game. Dragon Age pulls things in from all three games into your current world state. So either have to do a prequel or like a sequel because like everyone's story is different.
Yeah.
What if it's totally different and it's just about a dragon who's coming of age?
What?
Goes on a lovely adventure with his friends.
As long as that dragon's Flemeth, I do not care.
Nice. Hideo Kojima dropped some news that he was going to be working with Xbox to create a new game. Didn't say anything else, which is just fine. He doesn't need to say anything else.
Yeah, because they did mention at the beginning every game you see is coming out within the next year. You didn't see a game from him. You just made an announcement.
Can you prove that Hideo Kojima is not just a living video game?
I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all in a game designed by him right now. That is the actual game, is Our Lives. And he's just gonna wait to announce it.
All the Metal Gears have just been hints on how to get out.
Oh my god.
Damn.
It's been there all along.
That's why he always knows what's gonna happen.
That's how he always knows. So that's pretty awesome.
He's like, I'm gonna make a life simulator that's so realistic.
Oh god, it's your mirror.
Also, I got so angry at this. They showed like this awesome little creature jumping through the forest, and then like a dinosaur lands on this creature. I'm like, whoa, dinosaurs! And then like another dinosaur fights it. I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm ready for some cool dinosaur games. And then it pans up, and it's a dumb Vin Diesel's face.
Takes you out of it so entirely.
I got nothing against Vin Diesel. I love Fast and Furious, but man, him on a dinosaur, I just don't need to see.
I just don't think they went far enough with it. I think if those dinosaurs had rockets or giant wheels and then you raced the dinosaurs and they like leaned into that, I think, yes, I would play that game. But trying to put Vin Diesel in like, just like a realistic dinosaur.
It's almost like I get angry if Vin Diesel is ever in a role where he's pretending not to be Vin Diesel. I'm just like, no.
You mean he's acting?
Yeah, I respect it, but I'm also like, nah, man, just be Vin Diesel. And it sounds like he's trying to be like a cave person in this. I don't know. I'm just like, you're just gonna talk like you're from New York in this. Like that's just how it's gonna happen.
I haven't seen any gameplay footage where he talks, so maybe he does a fantastic job. But from the footage, like the preview shot, it's just like I said, it takes you straight out of whatever that game is. So and it seems like they're trying to make like a very like heartfelt like engaging story, and it was like that's That's what you went with? Like, I can't
And
pay
then I see
attention
him.
to anything his daughter's saying because I'm just imagining Fast and the Furious all over Vin Diesel.
And what's wild is that they've shown a trailer like this before where it got me in the exact same way.
I was about to say, this has now gotten me at least twice. And until you mentioned it just now, Troy, I had already forgotten that he's in Arc 2 again. So it would have gotten me again, and I'm sure it still will. Like, this is like those villains from Doctor Who where as soon as you look away, you forget about them. Like, that's what this is.
And that's right. It's Arc 2. That's the game. Oh, man, Vin Diesel, put on a shirt.
But also, I didn't play Arc, so maybe this is exactly what the Arc audience
this
is
is what's
looking
going to
for.
get you in.
Maybe there have been Vin Diesel references in previous Arc games.
Speaking of not having a shirt, what was up with The Rock just showing up? Just showing up mid-workout.
That's The Rock, man.
Jeff Keighley's like, all right, now we got The Rock on the show. Let's go see what he has to say. And The Rock is literally just shirtless in his gym like, sup, Jeff?
What?
I love The Rock's like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm not stopping my workout at all. Could you put on a shirt? No.
Yeah.
No.
Did you just ask me to put on a shirt? Don't you want the ratings?
Do you want a script? No. No. Just, I'm going to press record. I'm going to raise my eyebrow. I'm going to talk about Black Adam. Let's go. Brilliant. At one point, I think he forgot he was talking about, he was at a video game conference because he was like, stay positive, stay out there, keep striving, check out my energy drink, and enjoy games.
He only had one cue card in the background, and that's what he was looking at. It's like, oh yeah, games.
Video games.
Man.
This was a weird couple of days, and weird in the good ways, the bad ways, the weird ways. Like every single way it could have went this past week, it went. And I'm kind of looking forward to E3 being back. I don't know what's going to happen with it, how companies are going to do it, but I think they've gone too far with outside the box, like outside of them all doing their own thing. Like I want it to kind of be a little bit more structured again, personally, with some of the things.
I liked the symmetry of having E3 during the summer and then like the Game Awards during the winter, because then you got because the Game Awards are just like E3 with awards. So I liked having like pockets of trailers. Rather than them being all spread out. But I also get from the game companies that this is probably more cost effective. But like, come on, man. Like, we get our Super Bowl. Like, how are we supposed to have a dinner party and invite people over and eat Super Bowl food and then yell at the TV if they don't have E3 conference for us to watch? It's hard to do it with these like tiny videos. It's much more exciting to have like a big thing.
It's like spread out over a whole week. Some are still popping up here and there, right?
Apparently it's going to happen all summer. Like it's like what are they calling it? Summer of Games?
Something like that. Yeah,
I think that was
summer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go for it.
Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, Summer Game Fest was a 5-day event where it started with that like, hey, here's a bunch of trailers, and the next day was like Day of the Devs, which was awesome.
Yeah, and
I watched that.
That's the double fight.
Tim Schafer just found a lot of good games there. We should talk about that next week. And then the next day was like a Netflix geek thing that Jeff Keighley was doing, just a bunch of nerdy shows, but like Resident Evil, and I think the Dragon Age got announced then and stuff like that. Cyberpunk anime got announced. And then I don't know what the 4 and 5 days were, but every day was like a different sort of theme.
It was. The Sunday had both the Xbox showcase as well as I think the PC gamer
showcase.
What
it was. Yeah.
Or PC gaming showcase. And then Microsoft, because they had so much to announce, they had an extended showcase on Tuesday where they just talked about their games even more.
Cool.
But there's just stuff happening every single day. So I do wonder how E3 is going to do next year, what they're going to do, how everything's going to go around it. Nintendo still hasn't done anything yet, so we'll see if they do anything within the next week or two. Because it's Nintendo, they can do whatever they want, and it's still going to work.
Right.
But so I think that will do it for this week's episode, everyone.
That'll do you.
Yeah, I'll do. Thank you so much for joining us, Troy and Amanda, even though you guys were still a little bit under the weather. I appreciate you not letting me go lone man this week.
I won't lie. I'm still curious. I think it would be great. Brian
It still might happen.
Solo. Okay.
Yep. Summer bonus is still a thing.
Anything
we'll see
could
what
happen.
happens. Anything could happen in the summer of bonus. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, you can find us everywhere online. You can find us on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, everywhere at Taste of Dragons. We are still doing on Twitch. We are still doing Co-op Couple every Saturday, or most Saturdays, I should say, most Saturdays. And then every Tuesday, we are doing our Dragon's Dish at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, join us there. All the funs. So y'all, thank you so much for joining us. As always, my name is Brian.
My name is Troy.
And I'm Amanda.
And we are
The
Taste of Dragons. Have a great week, everyone.
I need some Tylenol.
I was going to get some of them cough drops.
Tradesies. Cool.
Nice.
Taste of Dragons Gaming Podcast, a podcast for everyone's taste.